and welcome back to 30 at 6 on Cecil TV. I'm Alison Donnelly, and today is Monday, October 8th. Election Day is November 6th, less than 1 month away. Cecil County voters will have several choices to make at the ballot box. You can register to vote online, by mail, or in person. The deadline for registering to vote online or by mail is October 16th, and the deadline for registering to vote in person is November 1st. Milburn Stone Theater has announced its 5-show lineup for the 2019 season. The season will open in January with Chess, followed by the region's premiere of The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night in February. We can look forward to Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder in April, Evita in June, and Anything Goes in August. Get tickets for those productions and lots more on www.milburnstone.com. Cecil County Public School marching bands competed with bands all over Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Delaware this past weekend at the Appoquinimink Invitational in Middletown, Delaware, and cleaned up. In Group 1A, Elkton and Northeast High Schools placed first and second, respectively, and in Group 2A, Rising Sun and Perryville High Schools took home first and second place awards, respectively. Congratulations! Cecil County was awarded one of 5 statewide transit innovation grants, amounting to $108,752 to develop the Easy Pay mobile ticketing and transfer system project that will automate fare collection, give transit riders trip planning capabilities using real-time tracking, and integrate with third-party transit providers for mobility options like Uber, Lyft, and bike-sharing services. Full implementation of the project should be completed by December 2019. Cecil County government is partnering with Motorola Solutions to replace the 12-year-old radio system that supports the operation of the Cecil County Sheriff's Office and other local law enforcement agencies, the Cecil County Department of Emergency Services, and the volunteer fire services in the county, as well as all public works, transit, health department, and public school operations. The nearly $9 million contract includes the purchase of 1,300 mobile and portable radios, as well as upgrades to the primary and backup 911 centers and enhancements to the radio tower sites around the county. And in case you missed it, we want your household or business to enter Cecil TV's first annual Spooky Display Competition. Enter by sending a 15-second video of your spooky decor to info@cecil.tv by October 24th. And now for a word from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sam Charles. For 30 years, I have been practicing functional medicine and gentle chiropractic. Elkton Chiropractic Neurology is dedicated to enhancing whole-body rejuvenation, whether or not you are afflicted with injury or disease. We utilize a structural, neurologic, metabolic, nutritional, and energetic approach to restoring your body to its full potential.
After coming to Dr. Charles, I'm better than I was before.
You deserve to feel good and to have an active lifestyle, so why not call Elkton Chiropractic Neurology today?
I'm home! Wow, it's hot in here.
Grandma says call the Moon Man.
Moon Man, the AC is out and my family is melted!
At your service! There you go! Mission accomplished!
Thanks, Moon Man!
The house is nice and cool again. Moon Man, you're awesome. You're welcome! Just go to moonair8.com. For out of this world service, moonair8.com.
Welcome back to 30 at 6. Back in the studio with us this evening is Patti Paulus from The Palette and the Page. Patti, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me again.
The Palette and the Page has quite a busy next couple of weeks.
Yes, we do.
Starting with this Friday, the Artful Tasting.
Yes, we're very excited about it because we are going to feature local beer this time.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
Yes, and it's 2 breweries that have, well, Elk River hasn't quite opened yet. It'll be, their grand opening is this weekend, but you get to come and have a little tasting beforehand. And Valhalla, which just opened. So they're each going to provide 2 different beers. And
what does this event support?
It supports our quest at the Palette and the Page to fund an endowed scholarship at Cecil College for Fine Arts students. And endowed means we have to raise $10,000 before anything can be awarded to anyone. So we're about a little over a quarter of the way there. So which is great because this is only our 4th tasting. So we're excited about that.
Very cool. So not only does it support a great cause, but it also highlights the fact that Cecil County has these new breweries opening up, which is also really cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. And it also supports
Immaculate Conception?
Yes, we're collecting canned foods for their food pantry, which is, we're getting to that time of year where that's very important. So that's been really good because we pair with the Rotary, and that's a big endeavor that they have. So we're glad to do that too.
So the Palette and the Page is working with State Line Liquors, John Murray.
Yes.
And what can guests expect?
So there'll be 4 different beers, and then there'll be 4 food pairings with those beers. And that's local too. Because part of our whole gig at the Palette and the Page is to support other people.
Right.
Particularly in Cecil County and in downtown Elkton. So Minnie Haynes is going to supply us with something. Eastman Cafe, and I know for a fact that she is going to use some beer in her recipe.
Cool.
From Elk River. And Unwind, he already told me they're doing some puff pastry with some yummy stuff. And then my partner, Janet Yals, she's going to cook up something yummy too. She always does all of our food, so we think she's pretty great.
So that seems like a great deal for the $20 suggested donation, and it goes to a great cause that comes right back into your community. So what else is going on this month?
Well, the next day, Robert Lackey is doing a book signing, and he lived in Havre de Grace for a very long time, and he has written the book that's being released is the 5th in his series about the Pulaski family, and it takes place in the mid-1800s, and I think it's, we're not into the 1900s yet, but it talks about the canal and the life there and slavery and running freed slaves and trying, all of those kinds of things. And every book ends in a cliffhanger. And so I've been dying for this book to come out. And I've read them all, and they're great. And he's a very interesting gentleman and fun to talk to. And so he'll be there from 11 to 2, I believe, signing books that whole day. And then the next Saturday, yes, the 20th, Kathy Golke will be with us, and she's a well-known Cecil County, well, actually Elkton writer, and she it's a relatively new book. It's called, do you have that down?
No.
And I can't remember what it's called. Oh, that's terrible. But I will tell you what it's about. It's about, in World War II, they in London, they sent the kids from the city out into the country, and it's about that whole situation. And she's been writing a lot about World War II. This is her 3rd book about World War II, and each one covers a different part of the war. And so she'll be there. She'll be talking about the book, When We Find Home. That's it. That's the name of the book. So at 11, she'll be there signing, but at 11:30, she's going to do a book talk about that book and maybe a little bit about her next book, which she's already writing. So, and we love having her. We're supposed to have her in, I think it was March or February, but it snowed, so she couldn't come. So this has been a postponed event. So we're very happy that that's happening.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So you definitely have your ear to the ground in Elkton. Is there anything else we should know?
Yes. Central Tavern just released a new menu, and I understand you had a little taste of it.
Yes, I had the autumn turkey sandwich on Saturday, and it was excellent. And I love anything with a sweet potato.
Yes, I haven't had it yet, so I'll have to have that. And then Friday at 11 a.m., Millstone Jewelers is having their grand opening, and they're a couple of doors up from East Main Cafe. And she has a place up in Oxford as well. She's a jewelry designer, and she also will have great things like watch batteries, which we really, after Colonial Jewelers closed, there's nobody in Cecil County that does that, so we're excited about that. And then the next day at noon, the next day at noon, the 13th, I'm getting all my dates mixed up, is when there's the grand opening at Elk River Brewing.
Right.
And they're going to have live music and some, I think they're going to have, they will, actually, this is really cool. They have paired with Central Tavern, and they are going to have their own menu that will be specific to the brewery, and you'll just order it at the brewery, and Central Tavern will bring it over.
Oh, wow.
And so they're going to have a tasting of some of that food, too.
Very cool.
Yeah. And I don't think anything else right yet. We have some fun stuff planned for December, but maybe I'll be back before then.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Allison, for the opportunity.
Of course.
All right.
With Elkton's downtown decked out with hay bales and checkered flags, spectators once again witnessed both the thrills and the spills of this year's Mini Grand Prix. Cecil TV was there as pit crews and drivers made final preparations to their carts.
I'm Alison Donnelly for Cecil TV. We're here at the Elkton Mini Grand Prix in downtown Elkton. And I'm here with Steve Moon from Moon Air. Steve, why is Moon Air participating this year?
Well, this is our second year in this project to raise money for cancer, for the hospital, and have fun in our community.
And why is this an important event for Elkton?
I tell you what, this could go national. We're looking to build a lot of participation, spectator participation, which is going to bring people to try the businesses out. We've got some really great new restaurants and brew pubs and stuff that have opened in town, and we're publicizing that too.
Cool. So any upgrades or like improvements to the cars this year?
Oh yeah, they're dialed in. These guys have been working on them. They're, we can't tell all our secrets,
right,
but we've been measuring and we've been doing, and these gentlemen over here who are going to race today have really worked hard on our cart this year. So,
Great. Can't wait.
it's going to be fun.
Good morning. I'm here with Jack. He'll be racing for Brookbend Interiors this morning. So it's Brookbend's first year in the race, but it's your third year.
Yes.
What insight do you have, and what is your advice and strategy?
Well, I'm just out here to race for charity, for Union Hospital and all of that. I'm really just gonna go out there, have fun. I'm not here to win. I'm not here to get hurt. So I'm just gonna come out here and have fun and help support a good charity.
As the races began, the crowd observed from behind safety walls and cordoned sidewalks. Not long into the second race, spectators gasped as the Jo Beth Bowers Law cart hit a barricade, ejecting its driver onto the pavement. Racing was halted until EMTs arrived and took the driver, Tim Heaps, to the hospital. He will recover from his injuries. The remaining races proceeded without major incidents.
Welcome back to 30 at 6. I'm here with Mike Dixon, local historian, and we're talking about women's suffrage because, as I mentioned earlier, the deadline to vote in Maryland on November 6th is October 16th. So women's suffrage and its connection to Cecil County seemed like a great topic to talk about this evening. So thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me back.
So first off, we were just talking about how, though it was the presidential election in 1920 when women across the nation were first able to vote in national elections, that actually there were some women in Rising Sun who could vote as early as 1916 in local elections.
Right.
Tell us about that.
So Maryland, Alison, was under pressure to let women vote, and most states were. But we weren't going to do this till the national movement came along and resolved it at the national level in 1920. So as a nod to women who wanted to vote, the Maryland legislature permitted small municipalities, school boards, would permit women to vote in local elections before the national movement. So in 1916, if you were a citizen of Rising Sun, a lady, you could go cast your ballot in the ballot box that year. Now, how exciting that must have been, knowing that in 2 years, or you didn't know it was going to be 2 years, but you knew the momentum, the movement was gaining momentum.
Right.
So Rising Sun was ahead of the curve with that.
Yeah, pretty cool. But it was such a long struggle before then for women.
Right. The movement had started in the 1840s, and much of it originated in New York State. So think of, actually it started in the 1840s in New York. So it's going to be 1840s to 1920. And Election Day 1920, women will go to the ballot and go to the ballot box and cast their ballots. But in between had been a long struggle that was approaching 100 years. And don't forget who decided if they could vote.
White men.
White men. So not a lot of people were not excited about this, and it was a long struggle that involved, I think the interesting aspect really is the activism and how they managed their campaigns to win that battle to convince white men that they should vote.
Right. And so part of that campaign was the trek from New York to D.C. for a rally in March 1913. And those women made their way right through Elkton, Northeast, Perryville.
Yeah. So a new president, a Democrat, is going to be inaugurated. His name's Woodrow Wilson. And women from across the nation are going to descend in Washington. That, I believe, is our first mass movement in the streets, civil disobedience in the streets of Washington. And these are women that are running that. But to get there, they have to come from Chicago and San Francisco and Atlanta and Buffalo. But here, because we're on the corridor, they come from New York and Long Island and Trenton and Camden and Newark. And so right down what is essentially our old Route 7, it was the main highway between Washington and points north, here come these activist women on a mission. Now think of rural Cecil County, Harford County, Newcastle County, wherever you want to think about it. And it was really quite a spectacle. They had automobiles, they were driving cars, they had banners, they had pets, and everywhere they went, Alison, so for instance, they came into Maryland over by Iron Hill, Delaware. They were singing Marching Through Dixie. And they were doing this to create attention. They got to Elkton, and one of our Republican politicians, because both sides were kind of worried about this, was a Mr. Warburton, and he was the Speaker of the House. And he opposed women's rights. Well, the women, as soon as they got to Elkton, they had mapped this out. They had great intelligence. This was a very sophisticated campaign. They went looking for Mr. Warburton. He lived out on East Main Street.
They wanted to have an argument with him.
Well, I don't know about an argument, but they certainly wanted to. Well, maybe you're right. Yeah, they certainly were going to confront him. But the Whigs said he was kind of a shy man. They couldn't. He wasn't in town that day.
Okay.
So, but then what? And they would do this every place they go. They would go to some public venue, an opera house, a mechanics hall, Oddfellows Lodge, and every place they would give lectures, and people would come out to hear them, and sometimes people would disagree with them. Spent the night, by the way, at Minnie's. That was then known as the Howard Hotel. And so they will spend the night there. They go down to Northeast, down at Perryville. Now they've gone basically Route 7 through Charlestown. Down at Perryville, there's the River City Band from Havre de Grace waiting to escort them across the river. They'll go into Havre de Grace. There they look for the mayor. The mayor there seemed to be supportive because he gave them the keys to the city. And they spend the night there. They lecture at the hall there. And then the point you were making about in the streets of Washington, it's the day before Woodrow Wilson's going to be inaugurated, and they're going to make their point very clearly. The streets fill up with tens of thousands of women who have congregated in Washington, and they make their point precisely. People were shocked. They weren't so welcome there either. I mean, people heckled them and did things like that. Some were arrested. And from that point until we get ready to ratify the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, there are pickets in front of the White House. Where Wilson went, pickets would often follow, and they would get locked up. It's a really interesting, for those that follow political science and things, it's really interesting to look at how sophisticated their campaign was. And you see elements of modern style emerging.
Right.
So that was kind of their story, and they convinced them. It was a hard job because it was interesting who opposed them too. The whiskey people were against them.
What's that?
Taxes. Not taxes, I'm sorry. The whiskey people were against them because of temperance and prohibition. Who was pushing, temperance and prohibition. And they knew, and this was one of the reasons they would argue, would list for not voting for women. If you voted for women, you know what they were going to do, Alison? We were going to get prohibition. What did we get? Prohibition. Actually, we got that a little bit before, but that was one of the great fears with the distilleries and the breweries and stuff like that, and it created a lot of money to fund opposition campaigns. Right.
Well, it just goes to show how much work and effort was put into giving women the right to vote, and how easy it is today to register to vote online, by mail, or in person. So if you live in Maryland, the deadline is October 16th. And thank you, Mike, for being here.
Well, thank you so much.
I'm home. Wow, it's hot in here.
Grandma says call the Moon Man.
Moon Man, the AC is out and my family is melted.
At your service. There you go. Mission accomplished.
Thanks, Moon Man.
The house is nice and cool again. Moon Man, you're awesome. You're welcome. Just go to moonair8.com. For out of this world service, moonair8.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sam Charles. For 30 years, I have been practicing functional medicine and gentle chiropractic. Elkton Chiropractic Neurology is dedicated to enhancing whole body rejuvenation, whether or not you are afflicted with injury or disease. We utilize a structural, neurologic, metabolic, nutritional, and energetic approach to restoring your body to its full potential.
After coming to Dr. Charles, I'm better than I was before.
You deserve to feel good and to have an active lifestyle, so why not call Elkton Chiropractic Neurology today?
Good evening and welcome back to 30 at 6. I'm Hannah Rodenbaugh, here tonight with the coordinator of the Neighborhood Youth Panel, Dawn Rodenbaugh.
Hi, Hannah.
Hi, Mom. So tell me, what is the Neighborhood Youth Panel?
Well, the Neighborhood Youth Panel is a program for youth, and it gives them a chance to, if they made a mistake and they got in trouble, it gives them a chance to avoid having charges on their record. It helps them avoid the juvenile justice system, and it really gives them a second chance.
So what kind of activities or consequences might the youth participate in?
We have volunteers that sit on the panel, and they're members of the community, and they work with the youth, and they come up with an action plan for them. And we have a number of different things that we do with them. We do a lot of community service throughout the county. We have a number of partners in Cecil County, so we do that pretty frequently. We also have a couple of different workshops that we offer. We have one that we're especially proud of. It's a 9-hour workshop called Life Choices, and we have a number of different speakers that come in and talk to them about a variety of different topics. They talk to them about money management, about decision making, time management, sexual choices, and they talk to them also about choices after graduation, like military or college or vocational training, and just really doesn't focus at all on what they got in trouble for. It's more of a tool that they can use later in life. And we also offer a shoplifting abatement class. We offer a drug and alcohol class, and we have a number of partners in Cecil County that we work with. We work with the Dexter House in Northeast, and they talk to our youth, some of the people that are in recovery. We work with STEPS Recovery Resources and also the Cecil County Health Department. So we just try to give them something that's going to help them learn from what they did wrong. We know that kids make mistakes, and we just, if they can learn something from it, it makes it all worthwhile. And hopefully they don't get in trouble again. We really have a good track record. We've been in Cecil County for 18 years now, and 90% of the kids that complete the program do not get in trouble at 18 months. So we're really pretty proud of that statistic.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Who is this program available to in the county?
Well, it's for juveniles under 18 years old, and it's for any youth in Cecil County that is charged with a misdemeanor offense. So it could be any number of different types of offenses, from assault to driving without a license or drug offense, alcohol offense. We deal with some tobacco offenses, theft, vandalism, anything like that. If it's a major felony type offense, they have to go to court, and they wouldn't be eligible for this. But they do have to be willing to come through the Neighborhood Youth Panel instead of going through the juvenile justice system. And they have to be cooperative. In other words, they have to admit that they did this thing. We're not there to decide whether they're guilty of it or not. We're just there to find out what's going on with them, talk to their parents, we talk to the victims, if there's a victim, and just, like I said, just kind of give them something that they can gain something positive from. But it is available to anybody that lives in Cecil County, any youth.
So you mentioned earlier that some of the participants in the program work with a mentor or a volunteer. How could a person get involved with volunteering for the Neighborhood Youth Panel?
Well, I'm glad you asked that because we always are looking for volunteers. Right now, especially, we're looking for volunteers in the Elkton area. We would just ask that people live, work, or spend some time in Cecil County, be willing to work with youth, of course. That's a big one. And they would need to be over 21. And what we usually would do is just invite them to a panel hearing in whichever area they would be interested in. And they can see firsthand what it's all about, and they can find out if it's something they really are interested in pursuing. And then if they are, we have a criminal background check that would be free of charge to them. We do offer some training just to give them some guidance going into it. We do, you know, we're available to assist, you know, as they're going through the mentoring process with the youth, so that they don't feel like, you know, they don't have any guidance. But basically it's just a willingness to work with youth, and, you know, we just ask people kind of remember what it was like when they were younger. You know, we have people of all ages and all walks of life, so anybody that would be interested, we would encourage them to come and check it out.
So how can these people that are interested in volunteering contact you to find out more?
They can call me. My phone number is 410-658-0229. We do have a Facebook page, Neighborhood Youth Panel. We also have a website. It's within the Cecil County government website. It's under Community Services. So if anybody wants to get some more information, please feel free to give me a call or check out our website.
Great. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.